Okay, this will be reviewing proportionality with the four examples here. First one here with the baking a cake. So you see the story here for every 1.5 cups flour, which is represented by the X. And this would be, of course, the independent variable here. Independent. And then that will determine how many cups of sugar you need. This says 1/2 cup for every 1.5 cups of flour. So over here it has the X for the independent. So you would put the number that's dependent upon that, which is the 1/2 cup of sugar. Then this is increasing at the same rate. It's increasing by 1.5 each time. So this would increase by 1/2. So from 1/2 to 1, and then from 1 to 1.5, because it's increasing at the same rate over here. And then same over here on this side for the last one, 1.5 to 2. Then when you're graphing these, the first one, 1.5 and 1/2. So this is 1, this is 2, this would be 1.5. And then this is 0, this is 1. Half would be right in the middle. So right about there would be your first dot. Then you'd keep going with the other ones. You'd go 3 and 1. So 3 is here, 1 is here, so you'd put the next dot there. And you keep going on the graph with the other ones. Then from there, you'd look for the constant of proportionality. So you can convert these to decimals. If you converted 1/2 to a decimal, it would be 0.5, and 1.5 would be 1.5. And you can do your division that way, and you'd end up with a 0.33 repeating decimal. And then for the equation for this one, you can start with y equaling, and then you can either put it in fraction form with 1/2 over 1.5, or for now, I'll just put 0.33x. So y will depend upon, the amount of sugar depends upon the rate of 0.33 times x for the cups of flour. And then here you can write your own question, like how much flour or how much sugar would you need with 10 cups flour? And then you would just plug it into the equation here with either x or y. Similarly here, it gives you the equation. So y equals 7 times x. That means the rate here is 7. And then x is going to be the number of tickets sold. This will be here. So of course, 0 tickets sold, $0. And then from there, you go by the rate of 7x. So y equals 7x. So 7 times 50 is going to give you the 350. And of course, the 100 times 7 will give you 700. So the rate here is 7 for the constant of proportionality. And then you would graph them here as well. Of course, 0, 0. And then the next one here, 50 and 350. 50 is here. So 200 and 400 are here. Let me zoom in. So halfway between those, we're looking for 250. Halfway between those would be 300. So 350 would be right about here. So if I go across, right about here would be your dot. And then you would graph the other ones. And again, write your own equation here. How many or how much would it cost for 600 tickets? And plug them into the equation. Spooky potion is similar to the first one. You're getting a rate here. Of course, you'd have 0, 0. So this rate is 3/4, and it would give you 1/2 of the slime. So over here, 3/4, 1/2. So each time this is increasing by 3/4. 3/4 plus 3/4 is going to be 1.5. 1.5 plus another 3/4 will be 2.25. Then you'd get 3, and it continues over to the other table over here. So this one will increase by 1/2 each time. 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. So the constant of proportionality for this one, you would be able to divide the 1/2 by 3/4. So you would take 1/2 and you would divide it by 3/4. You can do the keep, change, flip here, or you can convert it to decimals. I'll do it with decimals. I'll put zero point 0.5 divided by 0.75, and you're going to get about 0.66. So you'd have y equals 0.66x. So the constant of proportionality will be 0.66, or you can write this as a fraction, 1/2 over 3/4. And of course, the independent variable is on the x-axis, the worms, and the dependent variable is the slime. And you can write your own question here as well, like how much slime if you're going to have 10 cups of worms. And just write that in the solve, plug it into the equation. And then the last one, you need to look at the graph to solve it. So I would look for a point where they both hit and cross, like this one here, 4 and 3. So the rate is 3 over 4. So how many minutes to how many miles flown? So you'd keep going with the x over the y, just like they have here for these up on top. So you'd go about the same process. So you'd put y here, 0, 0, and then you would need to find the rate first. So I would start with this 4 here, and I'd put 3 here. So now the rate's going to be 0.75. You can do this by the fraction of 3/4, or you can go by 0.75, because if you did 3 divided by 4, the rate would be 0.75 or 3/4. So you can go either way. I'm going to go by decimals for now. So if we went up by that rate, it would be 0.75. Then we'd have 1.5, and then 2.25. So we're going by that constant of proportionality of 0.75. So for this one, we'd have our equation of y equals, and then we would need to have that rate of 0.75, which is here for the unit rate of 1. So we'd have 0.75 times x.